Vertum. This is the Real Spiel. Shiloh Institute, stand up. To Dr. David Israel, to Ashiel Moore, our leader, to Ibrahim Turore, our president, to the spiritual priesthood of Faith Temple Apostolic International Ministries, Pastor Thompson, the Emmanuel Church of Jesus Christ, the Glorious Churches of Canada, and all the Cyclopses that are in the building. God bless everybody. What in tarnation is going on in LA? So much going on there. What is happening in this United States of America? And hold on a second, I gotta put my phone on Do Not Disturb because everybody wants to call me, and he's back. Everybody wants to call me when I do a live, so I gotta put on Do Not Disturb. Listen to me. Is ICE the new slave catcher? Is ICE immigration, what is it? Correctional enforcement? I guess, I don't know. I'm not sure what it stands for. Immigration. No, it's for immigration. Are they the new slave catchers in America? Oh my goodness. Did I take my food? Did I take my lunch? Did I not take my doggone lunch? Oh, yes, I did. Oh, my heart attack. Gorilla was about to start. Listen, is ICE the new slave catchers in America? And this is a serious conversation because fundamentally, this nation was built on the absconding and the kidnapping of people from the continent, as well as the displacing as the people domestically in the nation, as well as the accepting of the menial labor from those coming from afar, as well as the manipulation of the founding colonizing fathers of those peoples to the benefit of their posterity, prosperity, and a capacity to be comfortable. And now the swing of that dragon's tail, that the same people who absconded with foreign nationals, the same people that illegally came and appropriated somebody else's sovereign nation and declared it to be their homeland, planted flags, started to section off fences, and said, "This is our United States of America," and broke away from their monarchical connections across the ocean. Those same people now are saying, "We're not going to allow you to do that. And we're going to come for you in a way that slave catchers came for the Africans." People are literally being kidnapped. Oh, you're exaggerating. No! If you were hanging out with Consuelo and Ricardo last night, and you had dinner with them, and you had a little dancing, and you woke up in the morning and the door is kicked in, and they are gone. There's no note. They are gone. They are put in a black van, and boom, oh, their kids are gone. When you don't have any jurisprudence to figure out how to get them out, where are they? That's called kidnapping, baby. That's called kidnapping. Let me say something at the very top of this so that you guys understand. When you are a person coming into another country and you're trying to claim refugee status, and you're trying to stay, the very first thing that you do, as soon as you cross the border, is you destroy your travel document. Why do they do that? Because if you're caught, they don't know where to send you back to, and even if they do, they can't send you back without a travel document. Now, accelerate that to a generation of people. Let's say you've been in the country 15 years. You could have kids. You got 2 or 3 kids now, right? Those kids don't have travel documents. You don't have travel documents. But they know they know you're illegal. They say, oh, we think they're illegal. And they go and they grab you. They say, prove your identity, prove you're here illegally, and you can't do it. And they arrest you, and they take you and incarcerate you, put you in a detention center for ICE. That is where you're staying, because Mexico, or wherever you're from, is not taking you without a travel document. So the process now is for ICE to coordinate with a nation if the people are cooperating and saying, okay, well, where are you from? And if you're not telling them where you're from, how do they start? How do they know if you're from Mexico or from El Salvador or from Brazil? They don't know. They have no idea where you're from. And so at the end of the day, those kids, those parents stay locked in an ICE dungeon, and then ICE has to figure out, what are we going to do with these people? Especially when you're starting to collect them at that level. You got to feed them, you got to exercise them, and hey, if we have enough, maybe we can just put them to work in our industrial prison complex. Maybe we can have legal child labor. Maybe we can put to work individuals that potentially are handicapped, potentially are elderly. Make them work perpetually. You're going to stay here till you tell us where you're from, till you tell us your real name, till you tell us your birthday, till you tell us the city of your birth, so that we can now call that nation and get a travel document. But as for these ones here, the children, now they're not allowing humanitarian claim. Well, these kids were born in America. Well, they're born in America legally, so we're not going to count that. We're not going to naturalize your children. But they don't even know Mexico. They don't speak Spanish. They don't know. They don't care. Well, he's 15 years old. He's only known America. We don't care. These are very interesting things, man. Now, these people probably got driver's license. They probably don't have social security numbers of their own, but they have an identification. They have ID. They have a life, and that's part one. Part two is that this initiative isn't just the immigration. They have mobilized National Guards and the Marines to come get these people, because in LA, folks ain't taking it. And there's an uprising going on right now. And it's international news. It is international news. The level of deportations that this administration is on, there's nothing like it in the world that's going on right now. I mean, let's imagine, right? Let's imagine South Africa, and I'm sure there's a lot of Africans from all over Africa in South Africa. I'm sure there's a lot of Europeans in South Africa. There's a lot of North Americans in South Africa. There's a lot of Asians in South Africa. And South Africa just all of a sudden said, we're going to have massive deportations. We're going to arrest everybody who's not from here and been here too long. We're going to put you in jail, keep you there until further notice. Let me ask you a question. Are you traveling to South Africa under those conditions? You see they've mobilized their National Guard and their armies to arrest people who are not from there. Are you going to South Africa? I certainly would be going to South Africa on those conditions. How does America really look to the world when you have a president that's effectively collecting your residents? Yeah, they might not be AKA citizens, but this is not a situation like where they had in Trinidad where they had to declare a national emergency because there was massive crime going on with people and they had to do something about it. This is the arbitrary decision to destabilize communities with non-naturalized peoples who are living peacefully, who are actually contributing to the community, who are probably paying taxes, who are part of your service industry, and kidnapping multiple families. And lawyers are figuring out, where is my client? Like, so-and-so they were taken by ICE, and we're trying to figure out where they are. We're trying to figure out how to get them out. We're trying to start a humanitarian motion, etc., etc. And it's chaos, because it doesn't seem like they have proper records. If you abduct under the guise of legality, and they're immigrants that are illegal, and you abduct these people, the first thing I'm telling my kids is, don't talk to these people. Don't say a word to them. They say nothing. They ask you a question, say nothing. Nothing. Don't tell them your name. Don't say nothing. They've probably been trained in that. Okay, mom, don't say nothing. So the kids ain't talking, the parents ain't talking, and they're thinking ultimately they're going to have to come get us out. So if they don't know who you are, and then lawyers come to get you, lawyers, well, we're here for Manuel. Well, who's Manuel? We don't know. We don't even know who these people are, even telling us their names. So unless ICE took them with some type of temporary ID, and maybe the ID that they have for them is not real ID. So these things are becoming so complicated in the legal sphere, because unless you're just literally taking them and dumping them in a country and leaving, they're in jail. They are locked up, right? And sometimes locked up in serious places. So how now when you think about this, well, they're illegal. Yeah, okay, fine, they're illegal. But should they be locked up with hardened criminals? Should they be locked up in penitentiary? Should their children be incarcerated? Where are their children being kept? These are kids that are now being separated from their families. And this has been done before. This is the Donald Trump, like this is his method. Like, we've had this before. Kids in cages. We've seen this before. Right? This is 2.0. America signed up for this again. And it's worse. It's worse. Well, something has to be done about these illegals. Now, that's a debatable question, right? That's really a debatable question in LA. Because on the other side of it, I've never seen a protest like this to release illegal immigrants. Like, people are literally saying, we're going to fight y'all. We're going to fight. Right? And there's many reasons why. Like, you're breaking up families. You don't know if the person was in the process of getting naturalized. We don't know this. Everybody didn't just show up with this whole capacity of saying you are illegal, you're hiding. Some people could have been in the system but not properly processed all the way. And I don't think ICE is being discriminating. They're not sitting down, crossing their legs, saying, "Oh, let's have an interview. So what is the process of your immigration?" They're not doing that. They're coming in like military commandos, and they are ransacking, arresting, and carting away people like they're drug cartel people. It's crazy, bro. It's not a normal thing. And we know that with this administration, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. Trump's not going to just say, well, we'll just stop doing it. He's going to buckle down, double down, and turn his own, and this is the crazy part, the American military should not be active in America. This is one of the major corresponding principles that shows us America is new Rome. The Roman concept was the army doesn't operate in Rome. They never wanted the army to be in Rome. They wanted the army to be abroad. This is why Rome liked to occupy places. They didn't want soldiers hanging around with civilians. They felt it was potentially problematic. Soldier's mind is like a rabid dog. He's supposed to bite everything he sees. They're like, keep those animals out there. Let them be out there. That's where they want to be. Let them be out there. You don't want them in here. And once you turn your military, whether it be your reserves, your national defense, especially your Marines, once you turn them on your people, this is what you're doing. A police officer is trained to stop the threat, to escalate his use of force from least intrusive to most intrusive, and to always have a level of force up. A soldier is trained to kill. Period. A soldier is trained to destabilize, damage, and destroy. 3Ds. Destabilize, damage, destroy. They are not community policing officers. ICE is not policing a group of citizens. They are saying you have no rights. You have no rights. You do not function under the authority of the Charter of Rights, under the Constitution. We don't need to give you your Miranda. We don't need to give you any of that. We snatch you, wrap you up, and drop you in a hole, and let the politicians work it out. We're not here for that. We're here to get you and get you out. And the approach is very militaristic, and it's kidnapping, because it has no basis in legality. The only legality that they have is that when that piece of paper drops in their office and they say, go get these people here, they're here, go get them, that's it. There's no questions. There's no, well, where are they in the process? No, they're like, once that paper lands on my desk, I load them up and we go in there like we're going to get killers. And we don't care if the killers are 5 years old. We see what we got here. I'm needing some good words. What's up? On your way to the boys. Legalities. Yeah, man, legalities. So, we've got to figure out now, and this is one of my things. Does this thing called borders make sense? Does this thing called borders, does it really make sense? Does it really, really make sense? Citizenship is an important aspect of life. But borders, concepts of borders, it's a very new concept when you think about it. You could be a Roman citizen and you could go anywhere. You demonstrate your citizenship. You could walk into a place from another place, walk into an area of the Roman Empire. You could function and float anywhere. There was no border restriction. There was restriction on your rights, and you had to prove that you're a Roman citizen, but there was no movement restrictions. And this concept of moving restrictions is really stupid. If there's jobs in America that people don't want to do, that millions of people, let's say millions of people, come into America to facilitate these service industry jobs. These people are providing a service that is not there. If there's no jobs in America, not a Mexican in the world is going to come. If there's nothing to offer them, they're not coming. They're not coming. They're not coming. I am sure, and I will bet good Trinidadian dollars on this. All right? That if I want to go to Russia and acquire acres, I mean acres and acres of land in Siberia, I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of trouble. I think Russia's gonna say, how much land you want in Siberia? Man, give me about 300 acres of land. How much rubles I need for that? I just want to come in there and invest in Siberia. They ain't gonna stop me. They are not going to stop me. If I get over in theirs in Siberia and they see me start putting up fences and start building stuff, ain't nobody going to stop me. It's going to be like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just building. I have some housing out here. I'm doing some, doing some landscaping. They'll look at each other. They're going to laugh and say, okay, you go ahead. Where are you from? Canada? Anybody authorized you? He said, no, I just felt I'd come out here and start building some houses for you guys. Put some things together, some grocery stores. No one's going to stop me. Not in Siberia. No one's stop me in Siberia. Because ain't nobody who care about Siberia. So I'm thinking to myself, how many Americans, and David Chappelle did this better than I could possibly do it. You know, how many Americans want to work, you know, like they do in China? David Chappelle said, stop trying to give us Chinese jobs. I don't want Chinese jobs. Stop trying to give us Mexican jobs. Why are you trying to stop the flow of immigrants that are coming into your nation that are effectively helping your nation to the point that when you try to apprehend them, you have protests. Leave them alone. Imagine that. You have protests because you've criminalized the migration of people, which is a ridiculous concept. You've criminalized people's movement for their own prosperity and fitting into the economic wheel of supply and demand. And if there was no demand, they wouldn't be there. They would not be there. Simple as that. They wouldn't want to come. Because it's like, what are we going to do there? I remember I had this brother from Congo, and he was trying to marry a Congolese girl. And the young lady said to him, which blew my mind at the time, she says, why am I coming to Canada to be poor with you? I'm going to stay in Africa. Oh, what am I coming to there to be? A servant, to wash somebody's floor? Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not coming there so I can be somebody's housekeeper. I said, bro, she has a point. She has a point. Because you don't have no money here. So she's saying, I'm coming to America, coming to Canada, this for what? What am I doing there? She's not wrong. People are not stupid. People understand where opportunity is and where opportunity is not. If you tell me as an adult black man with information and say, where would you rather live right now? Like, where would you rather live? Would you rather live in Canada? Would you rather live in Africa? Would you rather live in the UK? Would you rather live in China? Would you rather live in America? You asked me that, right? There's two places that I'm going to consider. I'm going to consider Africa, and I'm going to consider America. And I'm telling you why. Because there's massive communities of black men and women that allow me to fit into that community and to be prosperous, and there's opportunity in those places where there's no opportunity in the places I mentioned. Canada, there's no opportunities here for black people. There's no real opportunities here. Black people in Canada make up 1% of the corporate structure of Canada. In order to be affluent in Canada, you have to work for yourself. That's what you have to do. You have to start your own business. You got to start your own stuff, right? And if you fit into corporate Canada, wonderful. If you do fit into corporate Canada, wonderful. But we have a tax rate. If people making six figures, your tax rate is about 40%. So you're making maybe 60 grand, right? Why aren't you moving out? Moving out of Canada? I've been trying to move out of Canada for years, bro. Been trying to move out of Canada for years. There's no opportunity in Canada. There's not. I have too many friends who've come back with degrees, like myself, who don't have opportunity here in Canada. There's no opportunity in Canada. You have to struggle here in Canada. You have a very restrictive family court system in Canada. So even if you do acquire anything, and that little lady says to you, hey, I want half your stuff. I want you to pay me everything that you can for these kids. I want extra this, I want extra that. They're going to give it to her. They're going to make you a pauper in Canada. A successful person who has a child and a baby mama is a potential pauper in this particular country. They'll take your license, they'll take your passport away. On top of, and that's a person who got married. I'm not talking about some guy just randomly running around, right? On top of that, in Canada, okay, you have a very protectionist corporate structure here, right? The black men that are in corporate Canada, they are the exception. They are the outlier. It's not the rule. They have a very prejudicial educational system from 2000 and what year was that? 2007 till now. Ontario has said that we have not properly educated black people. They had black focused schools that they were trying to allow blacks to put their own schooling together. because they looked at the statistics. These kids are not graduating. These kids are not successful. I work in an area right now doing work with potential kids from marginalized communities. They are not pushed to higher education. They are being babysat up until high school and then told to go out into the world and compete. No, man, there's nothing here in Canada. So those areas that we mentioned, like America, people want to go there because there's opportunity there. America, and that's undeniable. America's economy is gargantua. It's huge. It's massive, and therefore it requires people to make it work. 350 million people making it work. Right? There's nothing like that in Canada. Maybe if you go to Alberta and those places, and you want to work in that particular scenario over there, but Southern Ontario, not so much. It's service industries. So, repeating yourself. Yeah, I did. I repeated myself. What's going on, Zenobia? Shalom. Shalom. So, now I don't live in America, so I don't know, if the realities that we're experiencing here in Canada as peoples of color are the same as people are experiencing there. But what I do know is that under this current regime, they are making sure that anyone who is illegal is not going to be part of that American melting pot. And they are collecting them like slaves. They're being collected. And it is a very interesting dynamic to watch that, to sit back and watch that and say, wow, the same folks that were dragging folks out of the continent are now dragging folks out of North America. And it's a very interesting dynamic to watch it. It's full circle. And, it's going to be quite the chicken coming home to roost when these things set down in other cultures. Because, as black people, you sit back and you're like, whoa, they're not coming after us no more. They want these Latinos. Maybe the Haitians, they're trying to get the Haitians, but the Haitians are legal, so you can't do nothing with them. But I don't know if ICE is that discriminating. And that's why this thing is getting extremely weird. I wanted to go hang out in California. I'm not going down there now. Y'all got all kind of stuff going on there. You got fires, you got celebrities being drugged, and all kinds of things happening over there. Now you're collecting all of the Latinos. That's part of the fun going down there. All these Latinos, you taking all the Latinas and getting them out of the country. Oh my goodness, don't do that. Whew. People say history doesn't repeat itself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Babe Rodriguez? History is repeating itself in a very interesting way. Because slave catching is slave catching. I don't care if it's technologically more savvy. Slave catching is slave catching. And again, once they pick them folks up, they are not shipping them back to wherever they came from because they don't have travel documents. And those countries don't have to let them in. Apparently Trump put some folks on a plane and tried to drop them off. He said, and President, come get your people back. Get your people back. We're not letting them in. They're not coming here. I don't care if you put them on a carrier or put them on a big old ship. I don't care. We put them in a submarine. They're not coming here without a travel document. They got to you. You figure it out. And Trump's been having this ongoing, personal feud with so many people, especially Mexico. And Mexico's not going to cooperate with you. No one cooperates. When an African gets to North America and somehow they get picked up and they say, man, they're looking for my travel and they call back Africa, they call back Uganda, and they say, hey, we have a man who is supposed to be from here. They're like, no, we don't know him. He is not from here. Because they don't want him to come back. They're like, my brother, you are free, stay. You are free, stay. We are not sending them anything. I had a brother that happened to, man. They called his nation, and they said, no, we don't have any documents for him. And they're like, we're not gonna cooperate with you. Nobody's gonna cooperate. Mexico's not gonna cooperate. Nobody's gonna cooperate. The problem is, though, those people are gonna stay in jail. That's the problem. Those people are gonna stay locked up, and their children are gonna stay locked up. And so this is what this riot is. It's like, hey, well, what are you gonna do with them? because you can't send them anywhere. You don't know where they're from. You can't prove where they're from. And if their nation doesn't accept them, what are you going to do with them? And this is the mistake that they're making. This is the mistake that you're making. And what they should have been doing is they should have been saying, you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to pick up the criminals. Once we find that you're a criminal, we're going to pick you up, and then we don't have to have much conscience, because we know you're a criminal. Then we can figure you out. But you're picking up children, grandmoms, nonas. Come on now. Come on. People are gonna lose their mind. You're gonna lose their mind. You picked up somebody's grandmother, that they're naturalized, they're fine, but the grandmother's not for whatever reason. Man, you got the wrath of people coming down on you, and that's what's happening. And it's going to be a very interesting thing to see, baby, because they're going to burn down LA. They're going to burn it down. They're going to burn it down. When you have to call the National Guard and the Marines, and you start, a situation where you start a fight. You start a fight. You see some little guy over here, and you start a fight. And you're in a club or something. You see this little guy here, and he's having too much fun for you, and you go, you try to destabilize the little situation. And hey man, get out of my way, man. You do one of those things, and you realize this guy's got 15 cousins in there. 15 cousins, and the cousins don't have to be big, but they're ready for all the smoke you want to give them. And you realize, man, I think I bit off a little more than I can chew with these dudes here. And now they don't want to party no more. They want to party on your head. That's how those Latinos are down there now. Those Latinos want to party on the head of every ICE officer. They want to party on the head of every National Guard. They want to party every Marine, every soldier you send here, baby. We're going to party on your head. You ain't going to do this. Nah, we're ready for smoke. Oh yeah, you're playing with the wrong people now. I'm just trying to figure out where are all those Latinos for Trump. Where are y'all? Latinos for Trump. Where are you guys? Where are you guys now? I'm trying to figure out where y'all are. I wonder if you guys are in the riots, in the protests. And it's quite an interesting thing. Let's see how this one lasts. Let's see how long this lasts. This is going to be very interesting. This might last into the summer because I don't see Trump stopping. He's going to double down. Once he started this, he's going to double down. And this is where I think it's going to end as I finish my situation here. Those soldiers are going to say, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this. I'm tired of this. What am I? I'm being trained. I'm being trained to what? To go pick up somebody's 5-year-old baby and take them to prison? I just put handcuffs on a 6-year-old girl. I'm not doing that no more. And they're going to stop doing it. That's what's going to happen. The Army's going to say, the National Guard's going to say, I'm not even going to do this job no more. I don't care where they send me. I'm not arresting people. I'm not arresting people who ain't doing anything. That's not my job. Let me see what y'all say. All black people minding their own business. We did our job already. They can fight for their own rights. Zenobia, we know, unfortunately, as good as that sounds, it always floats back to us. So we have to we have to stand in solidarity with people when they are now the object of the same scrutiny we've been. That's our job. That's our job as people, because the savior looks like us. So that's our job, but I'm going. All the while, I'm taking heed to my master's teaching. Being casual causes you to become a casualty. Hey, Les Brown. I like that. Well, Latino should have stayed in solidarity with black folk. They should have. They should have. They should have. I'm a Christian. Tolga Yudrim. Tolga Yudrim. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian. However, Ani Ivrit. Ini medeva Ivrit. So, but I am a Christian. Yeah, that's the problem with the Arabs never stand with black people. Arabs never stand with black people. Latinos are basically white folk. That's why I always shake my head when the Israelites include the Hebrew Israelites in America, when they include Latinos as one of the lost tribes. I always kind of chuckle with that terrible anthropology. But Arabs and Latinos never really stand hard with black people. Some do, but most do not. Because they're white. They are white. I know there's Afro-Latinos. That's a whole different scenario. But Spanish, Portuguese, individuals who might have mixed with Aboriginals, and they can pass for white, and they prefer to be white because they get the benefit of that white privilege. And if you're going to give me privilege and I can pass for the privilege, they're going to take the privilege. And they're not going to, very few of them are going to say, no, I'm an Afro-Latino. Unless their mom or their dad is legitimately a black person, very few of them are going to stand up and say, yeah, I'm going to stand with you. They're going to say, no, we want to be recognized as people of privilege. And this is something that is caste system based. It's in India, it's in the Caribbean. This is something that is white supremacy. I would say white supremacy that filters in to colored people's mentality. At the lighter I am, the more privileged I am. If I can pass for white, and all these kind of things, so they want to be white, and it's a psychosis amongst a lot of them, right? But now they're realizing that you're not white enough for them, folks. You're not white enough, and Trump will take South Africans, Norwegians. He'll take them as refugees all day long, and you have to see the writing on the wall because they're white enough for him, but y'all are not, and so y'all better stop acting like you are not under oppression in this version of America. Although you didn't necessarily come here marginalized, you're a conquistador, you were the Spanish, you came here as a colonizer, but now trying to come in the new wave, trying to walk in here and be a tree cutter, a grass cutter, or whatever else, they're not seeing you as a brethren. No, no, no. They're seeing you as a foreigner, as a person, as a pariah, and they're treating you that way, and that's why you're losing your mind. And we don't want you to do that. I don't want that to happen to you. I think it's horrible, but that's why you have to stand in solidarity with all marginalized people so that you can have a balance in America. And again, Americans have to understand, all nations, all of America, the culture that you've created is that you do not coexist well. And Marcus Garvey was correct. You guys need to separate. You need to allow black people to be nationalistic, to be the Puerto Ricos and the Guams of America. Give them a passport, but say you're your independent, own, sovereign territory. You work with yourself. You handle your own self. And you have to do that on a macro level to a micro level. You have to police your own self. You have to have your own army. You have to have your own police force. You have to have your own schools. You have to have your own banks. Because guess what? The melting pot experiment didn't work. The Great American Experiment is a failure. The Great American Experiment is a fraud because really the people in power are going to stay in power. That is the same everywhere you go. This is why Africa has been Africa, because when you're in power, you stay in power. You don't want to give away your power because power is tribal. And the people now, when they come with a new regime, with a new tribe, what are they going to do? They're going to say, I remember what you did to me, and I'm going to punish you because now we're in power. And that's how it works. That's unfortunate. That's humanity. That's how it works. And so the quicker that American says, you know what they said in Canada, we don't know what to do with you blacks. We can't, we're going to give you money, create your own schools. And some people in Canada did, oh no, we don't want segregation. Dummy, they're not giving you segregation, they're giving you independence. So sometimes you got to take the independence and say, you know what, you're right. This has failed. Let's separate and let's do our own thing, right? In the Bible, I knew I would bring back to there. Abraham and Lot had the same city. He's like, yo, Abraham said, Lot, I don't want no problems with you, baby. Our people are fighting, but we aren't fighting. So why don't we separate, and you pick one side, and I'll pick another side, and we go our separate ways, and you do your thing, and I do my thing, right? Now, Lot took Sodom and Gomorrah, and that didn't work out for him. But you've got to realize that even if you're kinfolk, there comes a time where you have to say, you need your own area, I need my own area, right? In Trinidad, they say two roosters can't operate in the same chicken coop, right? They can't. You got to give these people their own area. And black people, Latino people, and white folks clearly can't get along in America. They can't get along in America because the second that the dominant group thinks there's too much of you coming in, they're going to say there's too many of you. We need to put restraints on that. We don't want y'all here. And the reason that you can say that is because if that wasn't true in America, there would never have been a second Donald Trump presidency. There is a national cry from white nationalist mentalities in America that says, we want our country back. We don't want you in it. We don't care if you're Latino. We don't care if you're black. We don't care if you're Chinese. You guys have a place to go. This is our place, and we don't want you here. And if you're here, you're going to do what we say. That's as simple as it. That's the American pie right there, right? So, bless all of you. Caribbean bloodline roots say, what you don't hear, you shall feel. God bless you guys, man. Hey, to everybody in LA, to everybody fighting for the sovereignty of being able to be free moving human beings in the world, I say keep fighting. I say keep fighting, right? I say, but the thing is, this is the only thing I'm gonna say to you. If you're going to destabilize something, don't destabilize private property. Don't destabilize businesses and things that you built. When you storm the castle, you storm the king's castle. You don't burn down the farmers' farms. You storm the king's castle and you say to the king, we will burn down your castle if you don't listen to what we're saying. And that's where you have to point your aim. Don't go throwing stones into a barbershop or a bodega. Don't do that. Don't loot. Don't do that. Don't start looting. Don't do that. Show up to the castle. You show up to all of these courthouses. You show up to the doggone governor's mansion. I don't care. Apparently the governor's working with y'all. He wants to sue Trump. Apparently California wants to sue Trump. But you go down there to the people that started this nonsense, and you say, hey, this ain't right. And now you tell your governor that you call in forces to protect your people, and you have your district attorneys say, listen, we want all these people released. We want a registration to make sure where everybody is. We want them. You can put ankle monitors on them and send them home, but you're not going to be keeping kids in jails. And you got to fight for that, because the America that you're dealing with right now, that America is a different kind of America. And I'm telling every white person, it's going to be your turn if you don't fix your country. God bless you, and we'll talk soon.